I'm Ed Martin, president of the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Please visit realmrsamerica.com and please like and share this video and subscribe right down here, please, to continue to spread the word. We have a lot of fact checking to do. You know, when Mrs. America debuted almost 6 or 7 months ago now, we thought, well, that's a $50 million production. And we've got all these 6 or 7 weeks where we're going to have to do these fact checks. Well, it turns out we've got a lot more fact checking to do because Mrs. America, they spent $50 million on FX, or FX did it and ran on Hulu. It's trickling out into the culture, and we've got to address these specific instances where, you know, the people have the wrong impression because of the lies that we're told. You know, when the writers of Mrs. America couldn't find someone, a feminist or an anti-feminist, who would turn against Phyllis Schlafly and use that as a foil in Mrs. America. And by the way, there's a great tradition of searching for that. Carol Felsenthal, when she wrote her definitive book in 1981 or 82, called the Sweetheart Book, it's a biography of Phyllis. Carol says she searched. She searched for people that would say, Phyllis wasn't a good leader, or I quit that movement because it wasn't what I believed in. And Carol said she could never find anyone who would say a bad thing about Phyllis. And as she pointed out, Carol said they were all looking. The journalists at that time were really searching. So the writers couldn't find that, and so they just made stuff up. In fact, one of the main characters of the Mrs. America was a made-up character. You know, Gloria Steinem was a real character, and Phyllis Schlafly was a real character, and they made up one of the main characters, and this fake history is now seeping into our actual culture. And, you know, there's an article that I'm thinking of now we're going to break down in this fact check in America Magazine, the monthly magazine that's been around for decades. It's a sad example of what happens when the fake history gets out into the culture. Let's take a look at that and talk about this. You know, the author of this article, her name is Christina O'Brien, and the article's title is Mrs. America Exposes the Limits of Feminism and Conservatism. This woman, Christina O'Brien, she's a writer and a podcaster, and she seems to be very intelligent. She's got 3 undergraduate degrees, and she's going back to school now. I mean, she's got an academic background, and she writes and talks in her writing about her Catholic faith, which informs her. But Christina falls for Mrs. America, their bogus retelling of the historical record. In this article that she publishes in America Magazine, Christina calls the fake character Alice, the one that the writers admitted they made up. Christina calls the fake Alice one of the most important characters of the show, and the character that she, the author, Christina, mostly related to. Now, the majority of the article by Ms. O'Brien is spent identifying, she says she identifies with Alice's rejection of Phyllis Schlafly. And she writes that when Phyllis refused to support employment rights for women, protections for single mothers, and marriage as an equal partnership, end quote. So, wait, the author of this America Magazine is relating to a fictional character's rejection of what Phyllis's positions were, but they weren't those positions. In fact, none of that is true. Not only is Alice not a real person, but the assertions about what Phyllis was fighting for are actually false. Now, Phyllis, you know, we've said that over and over, she inspired women, and she said women should throw off the shackles of all the expectations put on them by the feminists, because the feminists had a narrow view of what a woman could be. You had to be like Gloria Steinem or be like one of these other feminists. Phyllis was rejecting that. Well, Christina's, you know, she may be wrong, Christina O'Brien, the author, but more than anything else, to me, she's a symbol of how younger people and people who view the Mrs. America miniseries, $50 million spent, that how they get duped by Hollywood and their fake history. It's very powerful. The media is very powerful. And Mrs. America is doing more damage than many textbooks could do, because they sit down and watch this and they relate to the fictional character. Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, our organization, and these fact checks, we stand against this attempt to rewrite history. We want to say, go back and look at the facts, go back and look at the truth. And we think that it's important to educate all people, young and old, conservative and liberal, about the truth. not be spun by Hollywood and then further the lie by writing about it in magazines and books and periodicals. If you'd like to be part of our work to educate people on the truth of conservatism and the truth of our history, please help us by clicking on the link below to chip in. And please like and share and subscribe this. Pass it on to others. We'll have to be back soon right here at realmrsamerica.com because we've got more work to fact check, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. And don't forget, soon they'll be having the Emmys. And I suspect that Kate Blanchett and others with Mrs. America writers will get Emmy Awards. Then they'll be giving speeches that tell untruths, and we'll be right back here fact checking. So I look forward to it. Thanks for being here. Please pass it on, and we'll talk again soon.